So last week, I got back from Maui. My wife and I had traveled there for a week, and this was a trip, incentive trip for my company, and we had not been on a trip together. Between my wife and I had not since our honeymoon, so we were really excited. This was something we had looked forward to for about a year. I didn't know I was going to make the trip, but it was a goal, and made it, and so it exceeded all expectations. We had such a great time, and I started thinking, you know, why did we have such a great time on this particular vacation when we had just been to Maui 3 years before, and we did almost all the same activities, went to the same places, and really about the same amount of time. And what I learned was the difference between a trip and a vacation. And I'd heard this before, and if you guys hadn't heard of it, a trip is with kids, a vacation is without. So I literally have a side-by-side, apples-to-apples comparison of Maui with kids and without kids. So to help me illustrate this better, I'll take you back to our first trip. This was 3 years ago. All of my kids are getting a little older. Our kids are, and so we knew we had one last shot to do a really big family vacation. So we had planned it out, and we had an opportunity actually for a timeshare we got from one of my wife's clients, and it was a 3-bedroom place. We got a super bargain on it, right on the northwest corner of Maui. So that kind of tipped the scale in favor of Maui. So then started looking at the flights, and for me, I have, you know, a stepson that's 23 years old, stepdaughter is 16, and my son is 14, and my stepson was engaged at the time and soon to be married. I agreed to take everybody on my dime. So once we digested the costs of all the flights and everything, and we really made it a splash. So what we did was kept it a secret from all the kids, and then for Christmas we presented it, you know, put Lay's in a box and really laid it out for them, and so everybody was excited. And then so you fast forward to June when we take the trip. We arrive after traveling all together, and I'm going, okay, this is so far so good. You know, we've been together for 8 hours. We get to the condo. It's everything it cracks up to be, right on the ocean, plenty of space. I'm just thinking, this is awesome. I'm like, I don't know what this trip, you know, versus vacation is all about, but let me explain more. So, two things we had a lot of activities. We like to stay busy, but two of the activities you actually had to set times for. One of them was the sunrise bike trip to the Haleakala Crater, and the other was a snorkeling trip to the Molokini Island. Well, with the time change being about 4 or 5 hours, and you have to be to the top of the Haleakala Mountain, which is about 10,000 feet up, for sunrise, you really got to leave by about 3 in the morning. So I had to sell this to all the kids. Hey, you know what? But it's really only 7 o'clock in the morning our time. So everything's cool. We do it. Surprisingly, everybody, we do it the next day, so we're still on our time. We get there. You know, it's gorgeous. This is a state park. It's the biggest volcano that's not active in the U.S., maybe even the world. I don't know for sure. So you load up bikes, mountain bikes. They take you to the top, and then you're at 10,000 feet. And if you look over behind you, because you're waiting for the sun to rise, you can see the ocean down there. So the sun rises over the clouds. It's spectacular. So this was all cool until my son decides he doesn't want to take the bike down. And that's half the deal. It's a 3-hour bike ride down, and then of course the bus driver is like, hey, if there's some people that don't want to take the bike down, I'll just drive them down. He's like, oh, that's me, Dad. I'm like, no way. It's not happening. And this is when, I had to dig my heels in. This is when it started becoming a trip, if you will. So we bought heads. I didn't give in. We finally, see the sunrise, get on the bikes, and I'm just like, listen, what's your biggest concern? I don't want to get hurt, Dad. I don't want to wipe out, nothing like. I'm like, that's not going to happen. Look at all these people. Do you think if people wipe out, that's going to, people will be taking this trip down? I'm like, it's not happening. You're going. Let's go. So we all take the trip down, and it's fun. But he starts realizing he can ride bike better than he thought he could, so he starts going faster than everybody else, and literally he's a half a mile ahead. I couldn't even yell at him, okay? So I'm just like, okay, whatever, he'll stop when he gets far enough ahead. So fast forward to the end of the trip, the end of this particular excursion, and everybody's peeling off to return the bikes. Me, I had a rear brake that was really wobbly, and it just made a lot of noise all afternoon long, so I was just using my front brake really lightly. So I end up losing concentration and finding out I'm almost going to miss the turn. So since I was using the front brake all day long, what do you think I hit when I was trying to stop? Boom! I went over the handlebars, wiped out. I mean, I was all banged up. My wife was taking pictures of all the kids coming in, and then she didn't even realize it. She's got a picture of me, like, draped over these two guys coming in like this. No lie, there's a picture of it. I was almost going to bring it. So that was my first excursion. Okay, so 2 days later, we take the trip to Molokini Island. And you know, this was an 11 o'clock start, so no big deal. The kids, you know, got them there. We wait to get on the boat, and then my son decides he needs to get something to eat. And this is a kid that never eats, never has breakfast, has to go get it. So I'm like, okay, here's 20 bucks, go get a granola bar in the hotel, come back. And by the way, the snorkeling trip was the biggest thing I wanted to do, okay? So I'm waiting here, it's 50 feet long, you know, 50 people long, and now they're starting to load the boat, okay? My son's not around. So I tell my wife to stay right here, I'll go run look for him, can't find him. I turn to be the last guy, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not going, I gotta wait for him. He comes walking up after I've been worried. Now I'm in relief because I see him. He comes walking up with a styrofoam takeout. I'm like, what do you got there? Pancakes. You went and got pancakes? This is honest truth. I don't swear in front of my kids or anything like that. Never do. But this came out so fluently that I just couldn't bring it back. And I was like, holy crap, Jeremy. Get on that effing boat right now. And I look back and all the people that run the operation are right there. I feel like the biggest jerk there is. So in closing, I can tell you that I know the difference between a trip and a vacation, and this last vacation there was no stress. So thank you.